The given RC passage talks about premonitions or predictions about future. So the first paragraph begins by saying that if we have to predict anything about future, the basic supposition is that the future does not exist in the present, and it also exists in the present in a way that future is present as a potential in the present, right? So there are a number of theories related to future being present as a potential in the present. So the most common analogy is that of a seed and a flower. In other words, the present contains the seed, and that the future is the flower that will bloom in the future. So by this analogy, we can also say that the gardener, that is a person who is trying to predict the future by examining the seed, that is some idea, something about the future, something that predicts future. By examining the seed can also predict the flower. So that means there are certain clues in the present that will help the precognizer to predict the future, right? Then the passage goes about giving another such prediction, another such theory about predictions of future given by Leibniz. Leibniz says that the universe is like a macrocosm, and that in the microcosm there is a chain of being that consists of animate and inanimate objects put together in a chain such that their connection is so deep. The connection between animate and inanimate objects, the connection between the two is so deep that the spiritual or the psychic person would connect with the inanimate and then will be able to predict the future. That is, a person with enough insight would see the future in the present as a mirror. Another theory about prediction is given by Adrian Dobbs. He says, he gives the theory of cytonic wave front. He says that this wave front can be registered by the brain's neurons, at least in certain, especially sensitive people, and be interpreted. A metaphor may help to clarify this process. So he comes up with this name, cytonic wave front, by drawing an analogy between present and future, and between a person and a toy ship that he watches from far off. Dobbs says that when a toy ship is traveling in the sea, and if a small person were to stand on the shore without seeing the toy ship in the sea, the person can predict exactly the length of the ship and the time the ship will take to reach the shore, etc., etc. How is that possible? He says that when the ship will move forward in the sea, it will create waves, and those waves will reach the shore on which the person is standing, and as the waves travel across the pond, these waves pass around certain objects. What are these objects? Weeds, leaves, a log, etc., that are fixed and are slowly drifting on its surface. So by that movement and by the movement of the waves, the person will be able to see. So the objects thus create disturbances in the wave front, which the small person who has a lifetime's experience in these things is able to note in fine detail. From what he learns of the wave fronts, he not only obtains an image of the objects that produce them, but also calculates how long it will be before they drift to the shore. So by this metaphor, the toy ship, Dobbs represents an event unfolding in time. So, and whatever path the ship takes will be the many paths it might take to unfold itself. The pond itself is what is Dobbs' cytonic wave front. The small person standing on the shore, the one who is a precognizer, is a natural apparatus that receives the wave front, one who predicts what will happen, that receives the wave front and converts it to a prediction, right? So the small person is the converter, the ship is the event that will unfold in future, and the pond, the medium through which this prediction comes to the small person, is the Dobbs cytonic wave front, right? Now the author further says that the difficulty in Dobbs' prediction would be that for the observer to distinguish the wavefront of a particular event from the presumable maelstrom of a wavefronts produced by simultaneously unfolding events. So in case two events unfold simultaneously, in that case it will be difficult for the observer to distinguish the wavefronts of a particular event from that of the other event occurring simultaneously, right? So this is another information. Then finally, the passage ends on the note at which it began, that is, the present has the potential to implicit the future, and that there are certain difficulties and limitations a person may face when attending them, right? Now the first question says the given passage mentions each of the following except. What all does the passage mention? Extraordinary skills of perception may be required in order to have premonitions. Exactly, it's given in the very first paragraph. Here it says that that a precognizer requires an uncanny ability to analyze signs and indications that are not only imperceptible to the ordinary eye but also impossible to deduce theoretically. So option A can be deduced, right? Now option B says the future does not yet exist. It is also given in the very first paragraph. It says the first paragraph, it's given in the first paragraph. Here the author says that future does not yet exist and cannot therefore produce its effect in the present, which can also be inferred from the passage. Tremendous insight may be required in order to have premonitions. This is also correct. Leibniz in one of his in his theories, Leibniz, one of the theorists, also talks about tremendous insight that may be required to make premonitions about future, and also it talks about the possibility it cannot be definitely deduced, but since it talks about a possibility, it may be required. D says cytronic fronts are extremely elusive and stay hidden. That's not given in the passage anywhere. All that is given about cytronic fronts is that there may be some time that the observer may at times face difficulty in predicting the future because when the events occur simultaneously. So therefore the answer is option D. Now look at the next question. It says in the toy ship example, the author is least likely to agree with the statement that it is not possible for several events to unfold simultaneously. This is absolutely incorrect against the passage. Here the theory, Dobbs' theory says that it will be difficult for the observer to distinguish the wavefront of a particular event from that of the other if the two events are produced simultaneously, happen simultaneously. So therefore option A can be negated. B says seemingly intangible wavefronts can be converted to tangible predictions. Yes, absolutely they can be. The wavefronts that approach the observer from far off help the observer predict what will happen tangibly in future. Therefore this the author is likely to agree with. C says the toy ship could have followed different paths in the pond. Yes, the different paths in the pond, it's given in the passage here. It says in this metaphor the toy ship represents an unfolding metaphor. Its course across the pond represents one of the many paths it might take, right? Now the option D says an analogy to Dobbs' wavefront can be drawn. Yes, the Dobbs' wavefront is an analogy in itself, therefore this also can be inferred. So the author is least likely to agree with option A, which is also the correct answer. Next question says which of the following is not correct as per the passage. Leibniz's theory did not permit the addition of new beings on the chain of earth. This is not given in the passage, new beings or old beings. The Leibniz's theory only talks about a chain of being that consists of animate and inanimate objects placed together. Leibniz was convinced that, so therefore this is now look at this question. It says which of the following is not correct as per the passage. Option A says Leibniz's theory, the answer to this question is option B. Leibniz was convinced that animate beings share common attributes only with animate ones. Now, this can be contradicted by these given in the passage, which says, accordingly, the various orders of beings, animate and inanimate, so gradually approximate each other in their attributes and properties that they form a single chain. So clearly this is not correct according to the passage, and therefore the answer to this question is option B. Right, the next question is, the word uncanny in the passage specifically refers to, now let's find out the word uncanny. Uncanny is given in this second paragraph, which says that the precognizer should have an uncanny ability. The word uncanny is used to describe the ability, to qualify the word ability. Ability, what kind of ability? Ability to analyze signs and indications that are not only imperceptible to the ordinary eye but also impossible to deduce theoretically. So here the answer to this question is therefore option B, which says the ability to analyze symptoms and indications that are not visible to the ordinary eye, and hence option B is the correct answer.